Good morning, Cedar Park. Up ahead, part 1 of Meet the Candidates as we continue our series Behind the Ballot. We at CPHS take a deep dive into all the candidates running for Leander ISD School Board this upcoming election.
Plus, the top 3 things you need to know for today.
Turn it up because the Wolfcast starts now.
It was so loud here.
It's gonna be a bad show.
Good morning, Cedar Park, and welcome back. I'm Jack Polishuk, and I'm here this morning with Reagan Hill and Katie Whitmarsh.
With the upcoming Leander ISD Board of Trustees election, it's important to know who the candidates are and what they are for and against.
November 8th is the 2022 Board Trustees election. Places 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7 will be on the ballot for LISD voters to vote on who will fill these positions. All school board positions are 4-year terms and represent the entire school district.
All candidates got the chance to answer the same 10 questions being asked, as well as the same amount of speaking time. To start off, beginning with place number 1, currently held by incumbent Trish Bodie. Bodie has served as a board member since 2015 and is currently the president. She says working in corporate communication has allowed her to spend more than 15 years engaging in legislative advocacy at a state level, which has allowed her to better understand process. This year, a big issue most voters are talking about is district finance. Bodie explains her take on the district's budget practices.
I would say that the school district, in light of those changes, has still continued to work carefully to do conservative budget practice. See what do we really need as a district and where are our dollars going. We will continue as we move forward, or I would advocate and want to continue to be able to look at how do we run, I guess, streamlined and efficient with our budget, but not so much that it's like you're penny wise, pound foolish. You want to make sure that you spend the money where it really impact our students in the classroom and in your programs. I can tell you the board has said that we want forward-facing classroom positions to be the last positions that we look at eliminating, removing, reducing. But I can also tell you that when you have a budget that is 87% right now of payroll and benefits, and 1% of that is district administration, that means that there's going to be some hard choices.
Bodie is in favor of both Proposition A and B. She wants to continue focusing on student learning, maximizing teacher and staff support, focusing on school finance, and engaging with the community. Running against Bodie for place 1 is David Doman. Doman is a 23-year-old Leander ISD resident with 2 children who went through LISD schools and a granddaughter currently enrolled in kindergarten. He's taught at middle school, high school, and college levels with a budget definition, review, and management history. Doman has personal handling and hiring and firing, and he has also written a college-level electrical engineering textbook. Doman says he is worried about the financial and philosophical direction of the current board and hopes to apply conservative principles if elected.
There are, I believe, 11 assistant school directors right now. That seems a little like overkill to me. There are vastly more counselors than I believe are necessary. But right now we are underperforming in number of teachers that exist in LISD. So the cutting of this vast quantity of school teachers, that's not true. We may not be able to hire as quickly as we should, but there is a future in hiring more teachers with redirecting of funds appropriately. Any dollar that is spent on, do you guys, you're aware of DEI and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Policies like that, whether they are good or bad, detract from the dollar that should be spent on you guys. That's where we need to cut. DEI may be good, it may be bad, but it is being overspent. We want to cut back on items like that.
In regards to Proposition A and B, Doman is in favor of Proposition A and against Proposition B. Also running for place 1 is self-proclaimed conservative Mike Sanders. Sanders and his wife have lived in Leander ISD for the past 11 years, raising their 2 children. Sanders served as a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years. After being honorably discharged, he studied at California Polytechnic State University to earn a degree in electronic engineering. Outside of his regular job of being an electronic engineer for the past 30 years, Sanders volunteers as a pastor for 3 different Spanish-speaking churches, and is an active member of the community by participating in multiple committees and boards. Sanders' campaign has focused on reducing what he calls unnecessary spending and abolishing what he views as explicit material that may be taught inside the classroom.
Our current board members promote the pornography and the obscenity that are in many books in our classrooms and our libraries, and I think that's completely wrong. If you have to be 18, if the movie is rated R, which means if you're 17 and under, you can't even view it without your parents present, why would you put the same material into the hands of teenagers or middle schoolers in a school? It's just wrong. One of the things that I want to stop in our schools is this CRT, critical race theory, where they're teaching kids that you're privileged if you have white skin and you're oppressed if you have black or brown skin. That's just nonsense. The color of your skin doesn't determine whether you're going to be successful or whether you're not going to be successful in life. Don't let anybody tell you that.
As for the district's budget, Sanders is against Props A and B and says he thinks the district needs to make cuts to make up for the budget deficits.
First of all, we don't need to have psychologists and psychiatrists in our schools. A psychiatrist dispenses medicines, mind-altering drugs, okay? That should not happen in a public school setting. If a person needs a psychiatrist, that should be handled by their family. That shouldn't be handled by public schools by any stretch of the imagination. And we don't need psychologists all over all our schools trying to teach people maybe you're a boy trapped in a girl's body, maybe you're a girl trapped in a boy's body. That's just craziness, and we don't need to be teaching children that or young adults that.
As to why the school district is in so much debt, Sanders believes that the bonds the school board keeps passing is causing our district to sink deeper and deeper into debt. Now on to place 6. The first candidate we look at is Francesca Romans. She's a 17-year-old resident of the Leander area with both of her children currently attending schools in the district. Romans says her 2 decades of experience working in public education have prepared her for the role of a board member. Her involvement in the school started as a volunteer crossing guard, a PTSM member, serving on the School Health Advisory Committee, the Community Curriculum Advisory Committee, and the Bond Oversight Committee. Romans says that her campaign aims to amplify student and educator voices while working towards a more respectable and balanced relationship within the community.
If you're going to lead a school district, you should be willing to actually go in and be a part of the classrooms and learn. I think that he's doing a great job with explaining the propositions right now. I know we had an issue with the bond last time and with the outreach and the explanation and people really understanding. I think that he's doing a good job with getting out into the community.
Romans says that she's in favor of both Props A and B passing to support the district's budget needs.
I was really glad to see that the board voted for raises a few months ago. We have to stay competitive with teacher and staff salaries. We have to pay them what they deserve. The state of Texas does not fund our schools. We would not need to call a Vader if the state would actually give our public school systems the money that they can give us. They just won't. The things that we could do if we were funded would be amazing. And this Vader is going to help us do that. We'll be able to keep our class sizes. We'll be able to keep all the teachers and keep all the programs that we need. Because I don't want to see us lose anything.
Another candidate for place 6 includes another longtime Leander resident, Sharon Bell. Bell says she is running because she believes her unique set of skills and experiences can bring a different perspective to the board. A mother to 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren, Sharon started to follow the school board meetings more closely. Bell's career began as a Houston paramedic. She then took those skills to become a college paramedics teacher before later moving to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, training and counseling correctional staff and inmates. Bell says she plans to restore academic excellence and reinstate complete parental authority. One issue she has strong views on: age-appropriate curriculum.
I don't like the pornographic literature that's in the school. That should never be in the hands of a 10-year-old. Mothers and fathers can take care of sexual education very well, and should take care of sexual education very well. That can confuse a child so much when they read something like that. It's like mind-blowing to them. And I just think that we need to get the pornographic books out. I don't think that political statements such as BLM flags should be in the classroom. And I also don't like the way that the sexual education is going. The sexual, what we call, and I almost said it, indoctrination is going. I think that it's being taught way too early. It's being introduced way too early. And we're basically taking their innocence away.
As far as the propositions go, Bell says she isn't a fan of Prop A or Prop B.
I don't like, because it threatens our teachers. If you have a budget problem, you don't cut off the source. You figure something else out. And I think that saying that we're going to eliminate 458 teacher positions, I believe it is, when we were 600 teachers short going into this hiring process, that's not reasonable.
Finally, also running for place 6 is Scott Reese. Reese is a veteran Marine Corps officer with experience as a community volunteer. He received a Bachelor of Science in Communication from Oregon State University and went to earn his MBA in Economics and Marketing Strategies from the University of California, Irvine. Reese is a financial investment strategist with a local real estate and construction management firm. He has also worked on Leander ISD Bond Oversight Committee and hopes to expand his impact on his community by being elected to the Board of Trustees. Reese believes the school board and administration are not presenting Props A and B clearly to the voters.
If we don't pass Prop B, then there's a shortfall, and you hear the team going out saying we're going to fire 480 teachers. So the board put us in this position to either pass this or we're going to fire teachers. That's kind of a threat to the voters. You're putting the voter in an unfair position, and if it doesn't pass, you've created a budget structural issue for the administration they have to now deal with. So they say, oh, we're reducing the tax rate, and if you don't let us reduce the tax rate, then we're going to have to terminate teachers. But we're actually increasing the tax dollars. Even though they're reducing the tax rate, the way they're moving money around, it's actually increasing the taxation on each homeowner.
He is also concerned about political activism in the classroom.
My son, who was in 8th grade, and he was home for virtual school, and we were watching him in the living room on virtual school, his teacher was actively promoting him as an 8th grader to go down into Austin and to attend the BLM protests that were happening down there, which I felt was very inappropriate for a teacher to be promoting 8th grade students to that level of activity. At the same time, that teacher was also presenting to my student in every class that we were watching from the living room books on transgender lifestyles and queer lifestyles. And while I respect everyone to live their life, I think it's inappropriate for a teacher to be introducing those ideas to my 13-year-old in the class. And on top of that, this particular teacher was providing outside resources on a Google slide on her classroom webpage. And those resources were 2 clicks to porn sites, to hardcore porn sites.
Please keep in mind that all the views and opinions expressed by candidates are their own, and some of their claims were not verified by CPHS News. Tune in tomorrow as we look into the rest of our school board candidates.
If you are interested in learning more about the candidates, you can find our full unedited interviews on our YouTube channel. Just search CPHS News.
You can also check out the Wolfcast's paired articles to read the transcribed versions of all the interviews. You can find this at cphsnewswolfpack.com or find the link on our Instagram at CPHS News. Up next, Kason Johnson has the top 3 things you need to know this morning.
Hi, I'm Miss Back, and you are watching the Wolfcast.
Happy Wednesday, Cedar Park. I'm Kason Johnson, delivering the top 3 things you need to know for today. First, Georgetown is putting together a Veterans Day event titled the Field of Honor. The Field of Honor is home to full-size American flags dedicated to first responders and veterans that gave their lives in service. In addition, there will also be an exhibit to display the events during 9/11, as well as firefighters that were attempting rescue the day of the tragedy. Next, what was supposed to be a night of fun and Halloween tradition turned into a stampeding mob. All throughout the streets of South Korea, streets were jam-packed full of people of all age. While there isn't a solid explanation of what caused the accident, the death toll shortly reached over 154, leaving this one of Korea's worst disasters to date. Finally, Taylor Swift announces her tour of 2023, the Eras Tour. Taylor explains that this tour will be based around her different eras of her music career, and has already posted the cities she will be visiting throughout the year. And And there you have it. Those were your top 3 things you need to know for today. What do you guys think?
Wait, so I didn't know about the thing that happened in South Korea. What was up with
Yeah,
that?
no, so they said it was like a stampede and like there's hundreds of people are getting like buried under each other. It's like, it's honestly, like the concert.
It was like basically it's like the exact same thing that happened at Astro Fest.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
But like in the literal streets
Yeah.
of South, yeah.
It was just like an unplanned like kind of parade.
I mean,
almost.
the town that it happened in is a really big like city party town, so just people were everywhere.
I think it's because it was like Halloween, people were
Exactly.
out, people were
Yeah.
partying, and then it just all went bad.
That's
Yeah,
insane,
it's
though.
terrible.
It really is.
I don't know how the streets get like packed like that.
I know. Well, and I
During
saw
Halloween.
some
Narrow
news
streetways,
yesterday that was
Yeah.
talking about like what to do if that happens.
Really?
And I don't know what I would do.
I mean, it's one thing to have it like an event go wrong, but like to have a voluntarily happen
and that
is
many
crazy.
people,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we have for you today. Make sure you are keeping up with all of our content, so head over to our YouTube channel at CPHS News.
You can also follow at CPHS_sports for updates during the games.
We'll see you tomorrow with part 2 of Meet the Candidates and a feature on Geography Club, a new TEWL spotlight, and more.
Thanks for taking the time to join us this morning.
With CPHS News, I'm Katie Whitmarsh.
I'm Kason Johnson.
I'm Reagan Hill.
And I'm Jack Paulshook. Remember to make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. Have a wonderful Wednesday, Cedar Park.